Hakuno moaned as she was walking in Chaldea's hallway. Right now, she was exhausted after dealing with another of Archer Gilgamesh's antics earlier. Geez, he still is the same even after he left the moon cell and ended up in Chaldea. Honestly, I'm even wondering how I managed to be his master all this time while surviving the moon cell Holy Grail War. She thought as she continued walking in the hallway. As she was walking, she came across the cafeteria, where she felt like her worries and stress would disappear upon getting some food. Well, guess I'll eating something to calm myself down. Hakuno then went into the cafeteria. As she did, she noticed Shirou was in the kitchen, making something. "Hey Shirou," she said, grabbing Shirou's attention. "HM? Oh, hey Hakuno. Are you hungry, or something?" Shirou asked. "Yeah. I need something to help me clear my mind." "Is there something wrong?" "Well, let's just say, I'm having trouble dealing with a certain servant," Hakuno said as she sat down on a chair at a nearby table. "Really? Who?" Hakuno sighed again. "Gilgamesh." Shirou was surprised at what Hakuno just said. "Really? Him?" "Yeah." Shirou sighed. "Alright, what did he do?" "Well, let's just say, he did something that was really embarrassing that I don't ever want to see again." "Really? What did he do?" Hakuno was silent for a moment. Then she said her answer. "He unleashed a .u.o cast off in front of me." Shirou was confused upon hearing Hakuno's answer. "A .u.o cast off? What's that?" "Well, from what I heard, it's a way for him to cut loose and hear the lovely voices of miserable girls that are an instrument to be played by the king. What he does is that he, well, exposes his body." Shirou nearly dropped the pan he was holding and yelled, "What? You got to be kidding me." "I know Shirou, but as much as I don't want to admit or even think about it, that is the truth right there." "So wait, he just strips down naked?" "Yeah." Shirou was shocked for a moment. "Okay, this is new. I can't believe that Gilgamesh has something like that. I mean, come on. He's practically stripping himself naked over there. There's no practical use in using that. In fact, what does he even do with that?" Shirou? Are you okay?" Hakuno said, snapping Shirou out of his thoughts. "Why yeah. Sorry Hakuno, I was just shocked over how ridiculous that skill is." "I mean, a skill that is just him stripping down naked? That's something unheard of." "You're telling me?" "The first time I ever saw him use that skill, I thought he was joking." "Yeah. Anyways, what do you want to eat Hakuno?" "HM. Something spicy I guess." "I see. Give me a moment to check what we have in the fridge and I cook something up, okay?" "Sure." Shirou then went into the fridge to see what he can cook up. As he checked the fridge, what he saw in the fridge was Korean-style rice cakes, Korean rectangular fish cakes, cabbage, carrots, onions, spicy red bean paste, leftover anchovy broth, and ketchup. With these ingredients in the fridge, I can make Korean-style spicy rice cakes. Hope Hakuno likes this. Shirou then grabbed the ingredients out of the fridge and placed them on the counter. Shirou then defrosted the rice cakes in cold water while preparing the other ingredients. He then sliced the cabbage, carrots, and onions into pieces. He then grabbed a nearby sauté pan that was deep enough to hold all of the ingredients and added in the anchovy broth, carrots, cabbage, and onions to the pan and brought it to a boil. Shirou then added gochujang, garlic soy sauce, salt, and sugar to the mixture and waited for it to boil. Meanwhile, Hakuno was waiting for Shirou to be done with what he was cooking. As she was waiting, she smelled the aroma of the sauce mixture, and it was making her hungry upon how good it smelled. "Wow. That smells good. I wonder what's he making now. It was just then that another person came into the room. Hakuno? Hakuno turned around to see who the source of the voice was. As she did, she saw Ritsuka. Hey there, master. Hey Hakuno. What are you doing here? Ritsuka asked as he sat down next to Hakuno. Well, I'm waiting for Shirou to be done cooking what he's preparing, Hakuno replied. Want to join me? Sure. I don't mind. Great. Hey Shirou, master just came in. Do you mind if you add another plate? Sure. I don't mind, Shirou replied as he was looking at the pan. Great. Hakuno then continued to wait for the food to be ready. As she did, Ritsuka then started a conversation between him and her. Hey Hakuno. How are you doing at Chaldea? Is everything okay here with you? Ritsuka asked. Well, I'm doing okay here. At first, everything seems to be a bit uneasy, but I got used to it. I'll admit though, there are few things I did not expect to see here in Chaldea. Really? And what that would be? Well, the fact that there are so many counterparts of certain servants. Especially since some of those servants may have the same face as well. I see. Which counterpart surprised you the most? Well, I would say, the fact that the caster and kid counterparts of Gilgamesh act differently from the one I summoned back in the moon cell. Really? How so? Simple. Less arrogant. Ritsuka chuckled at Hakuno's statement. You aren't wrong about that. Meanwhile, Shirou was still in the process of cooking the sauce. He kept stirring the mixture until it was consistent. After he was done stirring, he then added in the rice cakes and cooked them for 8 minutes. Then, he added the fish cakes, vegetables, and kept stirring them until all of them were soft for 5 minutes. Afterwards, he garnished them with some green onions and sesame seeds and served them on 3 plates. Okay master, Hakuno. Lunch is ready, Shirou said as he was done plating them. Shirou then brought them out to Ritsuka and Hakuno. As he handed them out to both of them, Hakuno was in awe over what Shirou made for her and Ritsuka. Wow! This looks amazing. Shirou, what is this? Hakuno asked. It's tteokbokki, which is Korean-style rice cake stir-fried in a spicy sauce, Shirou replied. Hope both of you enjoy it. Ritsuka smiled and turned to Hakuno. Well, try it out. Alright. Thanks for the meal. Hakuno then grabbed a fork, stabbed a rice cake along with a fish cake, and took a bite of it. As she did, she tasted how spicy it was, along with how good it was. Well? Shirou asked. It's good. Better than the mapo tofu I used to have in the moon cell. And that's saying something. Really? Yeah. You are a better cook than that Kotomine Kirie fellow over there. For a moment, Shirou was shocked upon hearing Kotomine Kirie from Hakuno's mouth and began choking on a rice cake he ate earlier. Noticing this, Ritsuka quickly went to the kitchen to get a glass of water to help Shirou. After he got the glass of water, he gave it to Shirou, in which Shirou drank quickly. Shirou, are you alright? Hakuno asked. Why yeah. I'm just surprised. Shirou replied as he finished drinking his water. So, there's a Kotomine Kirie in the moon cell as well? Yes. He exists in your world as well? Yeah. Is he a priest over there? Nope. He's a commissary keeper where I buy my items from. He is also the attendant at Tsukuyumi Onsen. Upon hearing this, Shirou was even more shocked. Really? Kirie is a commissary keeper in the moon cell where Hakuno comes from. Also, attendant at the Tsukuyumi Onsen? What is that? Shirou? You're spacing out again, Ritsuka said. HM? Oh, sorry master. I'm just a bit shocked after hearing this. Is that so? Was the Kotomine Kyrie in your universe was different from Hakuno's? Yeah. In my universe, Kotomine Kyrie was the supervisor of the 5th Fuyuki Holy Grail War. Not only that, but apparently, he was the master of the assassin class servant of the 4th Fuyuki Holy Grail War, despite being in the church. This time, it was Hakuno's turn to be surprised by what Shirou just said. Wow. So that's your universe's version of Kotomine Kyrie. Speaking of which, what was he like? Well, he was a sadistic priest who wanted to see the suffering of others. Wow. That sounds similar to my version of Kotomine Kyrie. Is that so? Hakuno, can I ask you something? Shirou asked as he wanted to check something. Sure. What is it? By any chance, was there a Tosaka Rin in your universe? Yeah. Why? Does she exist in your universe as well? Yes. I see. If that's the case, then does the person known as Matoshinji exists in your world as well? Yes. Wow. This may sound crazy, but I'm now starting to think that the moon cell was based off from your world, Shirou. Well, if that's possible. Yeah. It sounds like both of your worlds are similar, yet different at the same time, Ritsuka said. You can say that again. By the way, Master, Shirou said. What is it, Shirou? I hope that there is no Kotomine Kyrie here in this universe. Ritsuka chuckled at what Shirou said. Relax. I think there isn't. I hope so. Shirou, Hakuno, and Ritsuka then continued their meal together. As they did, they had multiple chats about parts of their lives, Chaldea, and much more. It was then that Hakuno asked Shirou a certain question. Hey Shirou. Can I ask you something? Sure. What is it? Well, why does Gilgamesh hate you? That's been on my mind for quite a while, Hakuno asked as she took a piece of her rice cakes into her mouth. For a moment, Shirou and Ritsuka were silent, making Hakuno confused upon seeing their reactions. Are you two okay? HM? Oh yeah. Just thinking about something, Shirou said. Why yeah. Me too. Why did you ask that question, Hakuno? Ritsuka asked. Well, lately, every time when Gilgamesh would hear a servant talking about Shirou, his mood goes sour and he gets slightly angry. Not only that, but when a servant praises Shirou, he punches a wall or scares the said servant. Do you have any idea why? Well, I can think of 4 reasons why he hates me. Do you want to hear them? Hakuno nodded. Well, one reason would be the fact that I completely, as Ritsuka would say, roasted him by calling him a mongrel in front of his face. Hakuno was surprised at what Shirou admitted. Really? You called him a mongrel in front of his face? Yeah. I mean, considering what his heritage is and what the word meant, he is one. Well, true, but still, I can't believe you called him the very word he kept calling other people. Hakuno said. Me too. When I heard about this, I was shocked as well, Ritsuka said. I see. Any other reasons? HM. There may be that other time where I had a practice match against him and the end result was not good for him, Shirou said. You mean the time where you beat his greatest treasure with your noble phantasm? Hakuno asked, surprising Shirou and Ritsuka. You knew? Ritsuka said. Yeah. BB told me about it. She told me how you beat him along with his greatest treasure with one of your noble phantasms. Not only that, but she also told me how you cut him arm off. I see. However, that event has a side effect that I did not expect. What do you mean by that? Well, news about my victory against Gilgamesh was spread throughout Chaldea, which gave me a lot of recognition among the servants here. I've even received some names along with my noble phantasm too. Is that so? Hakuno said as she continued eating. Anything else? Well, this one may not be directed not at me, but rather Muramasa. Shirou replied. Muramasa? You mean the spirit of the blacksmith that is currently residing inside your body now? Yeah. Then that means you're talking about the time where you allowed him to possess your body and he punched him so hard, he flew to the ceiling and was stuck there for a while, correct? Oh yeah. I remember that event. It was surprising to see Gilgamesh hanging on the ceiling, Ritsuka said. Yeah. Not to mention the aftermath of that event. Shirou muttered. What happened? Hakuno asked. Well, from what I heard, Merlin and Siyu had copies of the punch and showed them to other servants, and the rest is, well, history. I see. And the last reason? Shirou took a sigh before answering Hakuno's question. It's because we were enemies in the 5th Fuyuki Holy Grail War where I came from. Hakuno was shocked. Really? You two were enemies during your world's Holy Grail War? Yeah. And furthermore, because of my magecraft, he can't stand my existence in general, along with my future counterparts as well. Is that so? Yeah. And that's the many reasons why Gilgamesh really hates me. So yeah, sorry if he's causing you trouble because of me. Nah. I got used to dealing with Gilgamesh's antics during my time with him in the moon cell. But thanks for asking. You're welcome. Although can I ask you something? Sure. What is it? Well, how is it that you were able to deal with Gilgamesh as your servant? I mean, with his arrogance and all. Yeah. I want to know as well, Ritsuka said. Hakuno smirked. Well, let's just say, I like a certain food that he fears. Meanwhile, Archer Gilgamesh shuddered, not knowing what came over him.